Hey gang, welcome to another episode of Tim on the Fly. This is Tim, and we're here at a little spillway in eastern Kansas. Some of you might recognize this one. I was down here a few months back, well, last winter I guess, in November for a bamboo episode, and thought we'd come back again, see how it does in the summer. There's a lot of things in this particular little spillway that are possibilities. They're white bass, hybrids, crappie, bluegill, largemouth bass, walleye, catfish, drum, buffalo, bigmouth and smallmouth buffalo. So a lot of possibilities. So we're just going to kind of see what we got. I had a morning free, kind of on the timer. I've really only got until about noon to fish. It's right at 9 o'clock now, so let's not spend too much time talking and get down there and see what we can get in the time we've got. Got something going here. I'm not sure what it was, but he hit the fly and took off like a flash. He's not big, but whatever he is, he's got some power to him. Acting like it almost might be a channel cat. Nope. What is it we got here? Oh, we got ourselves a little white bass. Good way to start. Very nice. Mr. White Bass come along and grab the nymph we're using. Alright, let's get him back in the water and see what else we can come up with. We're tossing this nymph right up in the heart of that faster water. That's where that last white bass took it. Just popping it right up in there as far as we can. Stripping it along, trying not to go too fast, but still trying to stay out of the rocks. That guy could have been a fluke, or there could be a little pod of them in there. You just kind of keep feeling around the faster water here, because I think that's where they're going to be. Work that over. We'll work that over good. And then kind of move out into the rest of the hole here, but a lot of times fish will hang up in that faster water because there's a lot of oxygen in there, even if it's not very deep. And the little fish get up in there, the big fish follow them. So I never write it off, even, oh, see, there we go again. So there are a few sitting up there. Feels like another white bass. Yep, sure enough. Come on, buddy. They just suck that nymph down. Oh, come on. This one actually is not a little white bass, it's a little wiper. Whoops. Ow. Quit fighting, you stupid fish, you're done lost. Get the fly out here. And you can kind of tell he's a wiper. He's long and pretty long and thin. Whereas the white bass tend to be a little fatter, but really the way to tell is in there on that on his tongue pad, and I don't think you can see it on the camera right now. But white bass will have one patch of teeth there on the tongue, one real rough patch. And wipers will have multiples. He's not going to hang around and let us demonstrate. Let's get him out in the water. But anyway, one of them will have one patch and one of them will have two patches side by side on that tongue. And that's really about the only way you can tell them apart sometimes. Although, like I said here, that guy was a lot longer and leaner than your usual white bass out of this water, so it was pretty obvious he was a little wiper, and the tongue patches confirmed it. There we go. They are all sitting right up in, they are sitting all right up in that shallow water. This is the third one now in very short order. First one was a white bass, second one was a wiper. Let's see what this one's going to turn out to be. None of them are big, but they're still putting a good pull on things. This one is another wiper. Don't make me go get my net, guy. I'm getting all tangled up in the line here. There we go. Get him untangled from the line. Another long and lean baby wiper. And for those of you that don't know what a wiper is or haven't heard the term before, they're a white bass, striped bass hybrid. They get pretty big. The state record here in Kansas is well into the 20-pound range. And but the real thing is the energy that they bring to the game. They get their size from their striped bass parent. They get their attitude from the white bass. So all those spunky little white bass, you combine that with a couple of pounds of extra weight, and what you get is just a really strong, fierce, mean fish that's a whole lot of fun to catch. In this particular watershed, they're in the lake up above, and so occasionally they get pulled through the gates here and wind up down here where they mix in with the white bass that are native to this watershed. And so you never know from one fish to the next which it's going to be. Okay, so I moved over into the shady part because nothing was really happening, and now I've got something on here. I'm not sure what it is. It's not fighting real hard and fast, but it's strong. Whatever it is seems to have a little size to it. Not huge, but not dinky either. The water's dark enough. He's right at my feet, but the water is dark enough I can't really see what... Oh, there we go. Looks like maybe a catfish. Yeah, they're up some slack line here while he wears himself out. I also switched to a little larger, darker fly because this water is really, really dingy. And so I went to a little bigger, darker fly that would hopefully be a little bigger to see, and it looks like for at least one catfish that turned out to be the case. Come here, buddy. So now we're up to 3. We got ourselves we got those wipers earlier, we got that white bass earlier, now we got a channel cat. Boy, not by much, he was barely hooked. But we got him. So that gives us 3 species for the day. Let's get him back in the water. Swim off. See if we can't get something else. This is the fly I moved to, so I didn't move to anything really a whole lot bigger, but a little more solid profile, a little darker color, and a little more weight, so it'll get down a little better down here in the deeper end. And paid off at least once. Let's go see if we can make it happen again. I'm going to start moving down across these rocks here pretty quick. What we've got here, I don't know if you can see that island out there. But what we've got here is just a little cut, just a little deep cut where when more water is running, this kind of eddies up in here and provides a little protection for fish to get out of the current. When the water is slack like this, when there's not a lot running, they don't usually hang up in here quite as much, but I figured with the shade, putting them out of the sun a little bit, there might be a few hanging in here. Okay, so it's about 9:45 now. So we've been here about 45 minutes or so, and caught those 2 wipers, caught the 1 white bass, got that little channel cat. This shady section hasn't seemed to have worked out the way I thought it would. They're not running much water. It's even a little shallower than I remembered it being, so that might be why they're not holding in there. So I think I'm going to go ahead and head back up to that oxygenated water up close to the top of the spillway and see if that doesn't turn out to be a little bit better still. Who knows? It's middle of August, not running much water. Water's really dingy, so I'm not really expecting a whole lot. Anything I get is going to be a bonus, and it's better than being at home, so let's get back to it. Fished our way all the way up here without a bite, and now we finally got something else on. Looks like it might be another white bass. Yep, sure enough is. And there he goes. He's going to turn himself loose, which is okay. That was going to be the outcome anyway. So this little guy is working. I think what the problem is, I think the fish are in here, but they're not in here real thick. And I think the water is cloudy enough that we're just darn near having to bounce a fly off their nose, but we are picking one up once in a while. So I'm going to finish nosing my way into this faster current. I can't help but notice that he hit just right in the edge of it. So maybe as we push up in there, we'll get somebody else. Yeah, it looks like they're just right out here on this tail edge of this current. Another one here. Just about ready to give up and move up above the riffles. And this guy hits. He's doing exactly the same thing as the rest of them, so I think we got ourselves another, a little deeper bodied. Maybe we got a white bass here. Nope, another little wiper. Another little wiper. Gosh, these guys are fun. There we go. You're not going to flop away. Dang. Barbless hook, but he had it right through the meat of the jaw. Cute little guy. They're not big, but holy cow, they pull. I mean, we've got a 6 weight for crying out loud, and they are still clobbering me. Okay, guess we better put a few more casts in here to see if anything happens before we give up. There we go. We got another one going. Hit right up in that current again. Yet another little schooly wiper. Wonder if the big boys were maybe in here last night. There we go. Get the hook out of you. Alright. Nice little fish. Get him back in the water. Get him out of here. I think we're going to give this spot a little bit of a rest because it took a while before he hit. So I think we're maybe spooking the crowd. We'll give it a little rest and we'll head up above that riffle there. Okay, so I was just getting ready to give up on this spot. Just getting ready to move down below. And we got something here. And it doesn't look like something that we've caught yet so far. Oh yeah, it is. It's another white. Saw the dark back and thought, well, maybe we got a big gizzard shad, but we don't. We got a white. It's just for some reason not fighting very hard. No, another little wiper. Which seems weird that he's not fighting very hard, but there you go. There he is. A little bit bigger than what we've been catching. Get him back in the water. I think I'm still going to move down to that, back down below the riffles there and see what happens. Alright, so we switched to the indicator rig just to see what would happen. And what would happen looks like a drum. Fairly nice drum. I was kind of wondering where they were. Very rare in here that you don't catch a few of these guys each time you come, and this is a pretty decent one too. There we go. Nice sized drum. Same fly I was using, I just dropped it under an indicator so it'd stay in the zone a little longer. And there we go. Species number 4 for the day. I was beginning to wonder if that was going to happen. Getting pretty close to time to go home. Haven't really checked my watch for a while. Maybe I should, or my phone, or whatever. According to the phone, it's 11:13, so I got a little while. We can see if we can make this happen again. All I'm doing is I'm just flipping that rig up in there with the indicator on it and letting it drift down through instead of stripping. And what that's doing is it's holding that fly down just right off the bottom a little longer. I just can't believe there's nothing really swimming around in there. So we're gonna run through this section, cut it apart with the nymph, and by then it ought to be about time to head home, whether we've caught anything or not. Alright, well that about wraps it up for this session. It's just coming right up about noon and the sun's high over the water and things are slowing down, which is okay because I have to go right about now anyway. So at least I don't have to leave wishing I'd have stayed. Wasn't the best situation you could possibly ask for. It's the middle of August. Things have been pretty hot. Not much water flow. Pretty cloudy water. Wasn't expecting a whole lot to happen when I got here, but you know how the saying goes, the best time to go fishing is whenever you can, and this was when I could. And the fishing was good enough that it's way better than staying home wasting my time doing yard work and paying bills and things like that. But unfortunately, it's noon, and some of those things do need to get done, so I've got to get going. So we're going to have to say goodbye to the water. But yeah, we got a few good fish. Got some small wipers, got a couple white bass, and channel cat. Rounded out the day with a pretty decent sized drum. So, you know, 4 species in the morning. Can't really beat that. All in all, not a bad day. Glad you were along for the ride. Good luck fishing, tight lines, and we'll see you in the next one.